Okay, the following is a reading of a comment left on a particular channel in relation to an issue that seems to be picking up momentum and becoming rather popular. Um, it's concerning uh, a new tension between, well, let me just say it, Generation Z and Generation X. Now, I don't think this is a healthy activity. In fact, in a few obvious ways, it's rather stupid. And some might even say alarming concerning the implications of actually, a generation turning against its parents. Perhaps vice versa, only time will tell. Now, this really isn't so much about commenting upon the issue of this tension or debate, but rather just, I guess, one Generation X's resolution, one of many who have started to, I don't know, awaken and want to put forth the idea that, we may not really care so much about these things or these questions of accountability or, this idea of being let off the hook or put on the hook or criticized or whatever. But we kind of look at it like, okay, if you want us to care and you want us to make statements, we will. Even though we're not completely sure it's such a good idea. But it takes two, I guess. It's, well, I guess I'm just as guilty as that, of that temptation. But the reason I'm doing this is because the comment I made on a particular channel, when I went back for edification and to add some things that I had forgot to write in, basically just trying to make an edit. Several times the comment failed to post. I think it's because the statement was so long. It could be something to do with my phone, could be picking it up as spam or whatever, but it didn't. But I will read the comment and you can decide yourself whether or not it has been blocked or not. I thought about reposting the entire thing, rewriting it. And perhaps I will, but I decided I'd record it through an audio version so that I may, have it there to go over to remind me of, I don't want it, because I don't, in the event that I might forget something that was involved in the comment, which often happens, and it's one of my pet peeves. And besides that, once I remove myself from that channel with that comment, it will be automatically, removed, erased, because the edit didn't go through, failed to post. So whatever's there will move off the page. But while it's on the page, I'm just going to go ahead and read it and leave you to make up your own minds about this. Some may find this harsh in some respects. I understand that. Some may agree. Some may find me lenient. I don't know. But you can make up your own minds. Goes a little something like this. Gen X thinks they're ridiculous. They being Generation Z, with all their timid squirrel social boundaries and warped sense of entitlement and shit. If we, Generation X, were busting balls with our buddies back in the day and said to one another, "What a FAG," it was pressure on him to toughen up a bit and not to be so emotionally frail. And it had nothing to do with homosexuality, and it didn't call for someone ready to press hate speech charges. It did him good. And it wasn't just a macho tough guy act. We understood that. We would also say, don't be such a pussey, too. Yes. We think they're ridiculous. Ridiculous, we think, but we usually keep it to ourselves as we realize that in this day and age, and the state of things, and the point in history we find ourselves in, it makes it not worth the fight. The bigger fight on the way is blindsiding a new ignorance, and it's completely under their radar, as they don't even know what's being lost and what will be taken from them. As their mentality is dropped through a meat grinder. And they're not even seasoning that meat with the rainbow colors celebrated. Oh, but no 9 to 5 for me, they say in all their wisdom. Lovely. Like wet clay in the hands of elected dung beetles. But Generation X is kind of a don't tread on me and we are cool mindset. You will find it harder to offend or shame us. We don't fake not giving a fuck. In fact, and in a way, you might say we practically cultivated it. Hard to describe. We don't wait for groupthink before going after or celebrating what we wanted or liked. Your whoever social support or acceptance was not really prerequisite for our plans. In fact, we were taught the opposite attitude. Way different fucking rules. The weaknesses in your guidelines with your peers just doesn't have the kind of hold you would expect on us. For example, an overloaded inbox of hate or ridicule emails doesn't lead members of our group to suicide. We see through it, as well as the cowards and cheese that spin it. In fact, we even have contempt for the victim, who caves at the hands of keyboard assholes. We think, you idiot. Not sure sometimes who deserves the most contempt. Actually, that's going too far. We all know the cowardice of numbers. Again, hard to describe. It's not a game to us, but an understanding or strength one simply has or doesn't. When you slap us on the left cheek, we self-punch our other cheek and then come at you. We aren't even sure we are trying to prove something. We just want to identify and eliminate the problem in our sights. Kind of pragmatic that way. We were taught to ask some simple questions, you see. Who is this asshole standing in my way with the smart mouth, and does he or she really mean anything to me anyway? The answer was usually no, so you just proceeded, even knocking someone out of the way if necessary. Sometimes you got knocked, too. We didn't give a damn about what fucking strangers thought. We listened to what those we cared about thought. Not like today on the internet, where the very next detracting can lead a following of bullshit. You see, the internet created a weaker generation in a way, despite all the obvious benefits it delivered. Also, the Gen X boner was made of chrome steel, too. That's a whole other conversation entirely. It wasn't questioned and analyzed to phone sex wanker status. Hetero didn't need explanations. Hell, we were more worried about a person's taste in music. You think I'm kidding? Okay,